Greetings. Today we will add filter to our data table with sorting, so we will be able to filter by name or city. So I can copy this one, or can copy city, or can type something like south, and we have two results and we can sort it. So let's begin. So first of all, let's add our search. So we move our ng to ng container, and we add our input. So when you save it, we have this input, and in app module we need to import a reactive forms module. So in the app component we need to create our form control. So this will be our search control, new form control, and default it will be empty string. And in our app component template we need to add control, and that will be our search control. So now if we subscribe on this, we can get our value which we typing. So search control, value changes, so subscribe, and this will be our query, and we can console log it. So let's check. So when we type something, we have our values. Actually we can add pipe here. So before we get our value, we can modify it. So let's add map operator, and it will be our query to lowercase, and we needed to import. And in our, let's move it to this imports, keep everything nice and clean. Now let's go to our actions. So create new action, set filter by, and we have two properties. So filter by, it will be our array of keys for object. For example, you want filter by name and city and maybe some other values, and query, it will be our user input. So we save it. Now in our reducer we need to create our initial filter key, and we need to add properties, filter query and filter by, and we listen our action. So we pass our filters and we set it into our state. Now we need to update our model. So we have these two more properties, we also save it. Now in our selectors we need to create two more selectors, filter query and filter by. Also we need to pass it to our selector sorted data. Actually we can call it selected, filtered and sorted data, but whatever. So we add these two parameters here. We create variable filtered data, and we just copy our array, our data from our store, and need to check if it's not empty. We just need to filter it, so we use a type something, and we need to filter our data. So this function actually take our filter by keys. This is our array, for example by name and by ID, and we check if this property includes our filter query, and we check both, so that for example we filter by name and by city, or we can filter only by name, so it can check by many keys. So, and we return our filtered data, and here we need, after we filter, we need to sort it. Now let's go to our component. So we need to import our store, our state, model, and set filter by action. So, and actually we need to inject our store, and we need to dispatch our set filter by. So we set our filters. For example, I want in this case to filter by name and city. So when you go to our components data table and you see that we have here name and city, this is our actually keys, so I'll filter by this criteria, and our query will be our user input. So I'll save it, and I can copy, for example, this, and we have it, or I can copy city, so I can start type something, and it's working. So Glen or South, yep, looks good. Also I would like to rename this, so we just rename it on select data. So we save it, and we have error because in our data table we need to rename it as well. So select data, and yep, this should work. So let's check it. Let's add some styles. So we add this one, and in our data table component we add shadow, and so I think it's a little bit better. Also, it is good practice to create everywhere like file index ts. So we need export all from, and for example data table actions. So we need to export all from equex, all from reducers, and all from actions. And what we have here, use selectors, and we can do export all from module as well. So now in our component we don't need this one, and data table state, in our data table If you want to use that index TS with this kind of inputs, actually you need to keep going with full file name. But if you want to do it shorter, you can add relative path. So when I delete this one, I have relative path, so it's working. But if I do like here, it has error. Okay, thank you for watching. See you next time.